Okay, so I'm trying my best to just visualize, not even visualize, but to force a vision in my head for what I want to achieve in the Skylands. So I'm up here looking at this from an aerial perspective, just trying to see how I might connect everything. Right off the bat, I can say for sure, I definitely am going to want to extend the portion of this area around the crater. I'm hoping to at least make this like diamond shape ish, if not more circular. And what that means is I don't know that I need to extend the back of it at all, so we don't really need to worry about the island behind it, I think. Part of the Silvco area will probably be buried, but that could be not buried, but covered a little bit. But that's fine because the staircase will still lead down there. And in addition to that, I can maybe look at building a bridge to connect the top portion of the islands together. I'm undecided if I want to take steps to connect the back island as well to this main island. TBD, really. And so what that leaves us with is this island, this island, and this island. I do think there's something behind Silphco as well, but I'm not overly concerned about that. Um, if I'm looking at all these extra islands, right? I've already said I'm not sure about this one, but the one behind Silpho that's already connected, and I guess that leaves this one, these two, right? I think I'm okay with having them being disconnected from everything. That's fine to me. Maybe I might change my mind later. I can see like a possible way to connect these two islands. Maybe. This one's certainly I can see a way. But these two smaller islands, I don't want these to stay disconnected, mostly because if I don't connect them to this main island, like this is all the space I have left. So part of me really wants to just connect all this together. I think doing so is just going to make this main plot of the Skylands way more usable. So I think that's where I'm going to start everything is just trying to connect this island to this and that island to this. I think just to get it started, I probably just extend a really long platform out from the right side all the way there, seeing how far above it is from this part of the island, and then physically connecting them. And then the same thing for this corner, right? Just push it out. Every way I attempt to put together a Skylands concept in my head, I end up terraforming and connecting stuff together. Just again, because there's not enough room otherwise. Like, I really am not going to have the space to put things where I want to put them. This area does have quite a bit of space, I suppose, but I want this to kind of flow into this area. I want them to be connected. I guess I'm saying the truth here, right? I want to connect it all. Okay, so I'm going to make efforts to attempt to connect the Skylands. Okay, so where does that leave us, right? Where does that leave us? Oh, you know what? It's going to be a little awkward to connect these areas given the different grass, but I think I've collected enough things from everywhere to not care about that as much. And I can probably facilitate like a gradual transition of that grass to this grass. And I'm also thinking about the fact that, you know, early on into the Skylands build, I did say, why don't I theme these routes um, in correlation to the areas they're connected with? So I make this area look a lot more like Rocky Ridges, right? Maybe I drop like a hot spring dojo down here. I use similar types of stones as I do there for like the restaurant building. And if this is Bleak Beaches, maybe I use a lot more bricks, right? Maybe I use the yellow stones that are typical in the paths right there. Um, and that helps with another idea because one thing I also said is that I want to have kind of like every style of prefab house in my Skylands. So it would be an excellent idea to kind of build those prefab houses around this area, leading to the main path where there will be a Skyland cityscape, and then a similar idea to here, where I build the Rocky Ridges stone prefabs, gradually, as a community essentially, but gradually connecting to the Skylands. That far island can become more Skylands area, so these areas just feel more necessary to connect, it seems. And then that can just be something I decide on way later. Behind the Silpho can just be area I do whatever I want with. I do want to excavate the dojo. Maybe I make a mini shopping mall or a mini apartment building like I have in other areas. I don't know. Anyways, I think I finally just talked myself into some sort of a build. So I'm going to try to get this started. Okay. I don't have a clear vision, so I'm not going to record a lot of the initial build here. I'm just going to do some of it off camera. But once I feel like something is starting to come together, I will start recording again. Well, something happened. I'm not happy with it yet, but it happened. Let me show you. Just like I said, I wanted to connect the islands. So I did that. And it's not pretty. It is really ugly, to be totally honest with you. This is hideous. So is this. It is very ugly. But it's a start. So I won't be mad. This had to happen. I did have to connect the land masses in some way. I don't know that this is really going to be the end-all be-all of what I decide to do. Definitely won't. It's super rough. And I guess I forgot to fill in that side, so I will take care of that. But what this means is I now have at least a framework of reference to decide what expansions and additions I'd like to do here. So I already said we're going to close that side up. I do think I have to make the edges more mountainous. And I think that means actually extending out this way and kind of just making architecture like that, really, right? Or that in the distance, where you can see like the ridges forming. I think this strip that connects to this deposit, whatever you want to call this, of the Skylands, I think this extends. And I kind of see it extending in a curved motion from the edge right over there, just filling in the gaps. That's what I'd like to see. It'll be easy to do that too. I already thought about something for this, as soon as I hit record, really, but you see like the edge of the frigid chamber station over there? I'd like that to gradually come down and connect to this platform. If possible, it can still like retain its circular kind of shape in the process, or it can not retain, but build on a circular shape coming down. I think I see a way to do it. So I think that's what I'm going to do next here on screen. We'll just get a little bit more character etched into the sides, and then we'll pick back up the recording. Still nothing overly impressive. Let's be totally honest, right? Nothing impressive yet. But you can start to see some of this architecture coming together, I think, right? I'm planning to fill that inner cove with mysterious stone and possibly create an entrance to the crater, right? I think that's possible. For sure, I think that's possible. I do have to round out this edge now. I think, honestly, the best way to do that is to just build a zigzag until it connects to the landmass over there. To a certain extent, you just gotta let the terraforming happen. Like, there's only so much I can control about where this is going to end up. What I can control is that I want it to be a zigzag pattern from the corner, but I'm not gonna have too much control. Well, without doing any insane amount of planning, I'm not going to have too much control of where this ends up. But personally, I'm the kind of person where I think I can take what I'm given and build with that rather than work against it. So what this would mean now is like all of the land that's in between I'd want to connect, the lands in between. I'll worry about the underside of all this much later. Not even a second thought for me right now, and nor do I think it'll be that difficult. It'll just be, the 2x2 kind of cliffside underneath concept, preferably with mysterious stone. Well, maybe. I'm not worried about that, but we need to get these like first platforms in place before we can work on minor details. You don't always need like a perfect plan. You know what? Yeah. So you don't always need a perfect plan to build in Pokopia, but what you do need to do every single time, without fail, without question, is start. And sometimes the best plan is just to have a first step and to see where that goes. And that is really the name of the game with most of my terraforming, I feel. Okay. Seeing something come together, honestly. Between Cloud Islands and Palatown, what is the most, like, worthwhile for you to build? Ultimately, I think it depends on your perspective, like what you want to get out of said island. If your intention is to build the best island possible, I personally think you're better off starting with a Cloud Island, because I think Palatown is the superior island or area to build the perfect island on. And my reason is simple. Cloud Islands can be deleted. And it's not always because you've asked for them to be deleted. Sometimes, unfortunately, especially recently, I've seen a couple of bad actors in the space where it appears that their whole joy of this game, the thing they like doing in this game, is going to other people's Cloud Islands, destroying things, and or ruining them. And sometimes that does include, I've seen it once on Reddit, okay, maybe there was details I don't know, but somebody had like reported the name of someone's island, and that got it banned. Their Cloud Island that they spent hours working on, right? Now, I'm sorry, I was saying that I've seen plenty of posts where people will say, hey, you know, I opened up my Cloud Island and somebody came in when I was gone and they destroyed everything, you know. They made it so all my Pokemon were basically inaccessible. They destroyed all my landscapes, and now my Cloud Island is ruined. I've heard that story a few times now. So my mental, I think you can change your Cloud Island so nobody can edit it. So sure, there's a way to preserve it, but that doesn't save the name thing if someone reports the name of your island, right? And then they delete it. Then it's just gone. You're unlikely to be able to get it back by any sense of the word. I don't know that they can restore these things, maybe, but it would be a battle for you through very fun support channels, right? So because your Cloud Island has the possibility of just being taken from you, I can't think of another way to word that. For me, I don't think a Cloud Island is what I want to put my coins, my points into. So because of that, I think a Cloud Island is great in concept for you to attempt the same thing you're going to attempt with Palatown, and that is completely building something out of nothing, right? An entirely flat area. Cloud Islands have an extra challenge of housing every single Pokemon, where Palatown and your in-world islands, you can split up the diversity to force specific spawns, which is excellent. You can't do that in a Cloud Island. It's 300 Pokemon that'll spawn there. The fact that you can use a Cloud Island, you know, be a little bit less attached to it, just recognizing that it could go away one day, I think it provides you the opportunity that Palatown does with the blank canvas, so that you can build the skills necessary to build Palatown without worrying about that. And I want to say as well, I think Palatown, you can make it so people can like edit your island. I could be totally wrong. I haven't really ventured into the Cloud Island aspect of the game at all, so I'm just speaking really from no place. That's just what I think. Welcome to be proven wrong, of course, but I think that just makes it so Palatown is something that you can actually count as like your end game kind of thing you're building, or the true test of your limits in Pokopia. And a Cloud Island, again, I'm just reiterating the same thing over and over again at this point, but a Cloud Island is an excellent vehicle towards that, I believe. So that was a little yap session. We're almost done with what I was hoping to get done initially here. All we're doing right now is trying our best to follow the natural shape of the islands, and what you'll find is eventually you end up with something kind of recognizable. So if we take a second now to zoom out, there's obviously some little areas that have room for improvement. And we haven't really touched this, of course, at all. But, you know, something is starting to come together. I truly think so. This is interesting. What's next? What else can I do? So I do have a lot of the stripped soil, so I'd like to take advantage of it a bit more. So maybe this is a little challenging. I want to extend this side out to look a little bit more natural if possible. I don't know how to quite do that though. The only way to do it is if this connects to that. I have to kind of start from here going outwards. Well, I didn't want to think about this yet, but evidently I have to. So if we start at a random... Oh, what's all this behind the route? Just want to look at this for a moment. So I do want to fill in the bottom layer now. Connect that pretty seamlessly. I don't think we connect this. But we have to, well, we semi-connected because we need to make it look seamless. And we can fill in this and worry about less after that point. Okay. We do see some form of landscaping as forming. So things are happening. There's still a lot more I want to do, but I am starting to at least see something coming together, right? And that process of seeing something coming together is what ultimately ends up inspiring me to build things. So I'm on the right path. We just got to keep going. We ran out. So just so I can finish it, we'll use a different color. We really don't think we have enough barren soil to connect the landscape, but we're going to connect it there, right? So let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and just see what we've got so far. You're going to find that it's still a relatively empty area, but there is something here now, right? You know, I can see an extended platform. There is the possibility of me placing land down here. And we could connect this bottom layer a bit more appropriately to the top layer. And it could potentially all be raised to the same extent. So something's going to be possible. I already see like way more opportunity with the Skylands now that it's connecting a bit more. We have to spend considerable more effort to connect that top layer and even that out, because I guess I want to build ultimately on the top layer. Because we connected that island, I think it only makes sense to eventually connect that one too. So that portion, it's actually rectangular and less triangular if I look at it from this side, this whole landmass I've built. But I would like this to connect a bit more seamlessly and extend the land this way, which ultimately just creates more of a runway to connect to this island, which is also good. But then it stops this from looking as boxy. And if I'm planning on extending the radius of the circle and evening it out in the process, you know, that's going to get consumed, and we can possibly even that out by having more of a better connection here. Like maybe the edge of the circle ends up connecting to that in some way. Who knows? I envision the next few days of playing just being Dream Island farming. Lots more to go. I just realized I've been recording for 44 minutes for what I thought was a 15-minute game session. Pokopia is a crazy game. But I think this is a good point to stop, because not only am I out of resources, but this is the kind of thing where I know personally if I push it, I'm going to lose the sauce. So we're probably gonna have a pretty long gap in recording updates from this point, so that I can harvest everything from Dream Islands. Thank you for watching. Keep tuning in. We're gonna see what happens with Skylands. Who knows what's next?